Hey everybody, it's Jenna. It absolutely delights me to say that I have seen the first 5 episodes of Peacemaker Season 2. I'm already at work on spoiler-filled reviews and breakdown videos for each of the individual episodes, which I am so excited to bring to y'all because good lord, there is a lot to talk about. But people wanted to hear my spoiler-free thoughts as well, which for the record is super flattering, especially when I'm posting this days after the official embargo lifted and the excellent Rotten Tomatoes score was revealed. I know that in the sea of social media reactions and reviews and people trying to fit in as many buzzwords as humanly possible, it can be hard to convey just how genuinely a piece of media resonated. So I'm going to start with the most hyper-specific form of praise that I could give these episodes, which is that after I finished watching them, I could not wipe the grin off my face for the rest of the day. Everything about this season so far is just elevated, not in the way of suddenly taking itself too seriously or changing its DNA to fit into a new status quo, but in the way of just casually raising the bar of what it can be capable of. The jokes, the performances, the emotional and literal stakes, and just the craftsmanship of the episodes are all bigger and stronger, but there is such a sense of confidence and heart that it never once feels like it's too much. This show is such a joy, and I am so glad that it's a joy that we all get to experience week to week without any sort of double episode drops or a binge model that would lessen the impact of it all. That emotional impact and the stakes laid out across these 5 episodes are so much fun to discover, so much so that I am actively struggling with how to talk about them in this video. I'll touch on the DCU of it all in a minute, but the multiversal circumstances driving this season matter on both a massive altruistic level and on countless incredibly specific micro levels. For starters, it is a joy seeing this particular set of characters deal with these specific problems, because they, on paper, should not be equipped to really do so. After a lifetime of reading comics and watching hundreds of hours of procedural superhero television where supposed geniuses don't really know what they're doing, this is such a contrast in a really compelling way. And it's compelling because, like I said in my most recent multiverse video before I even watched these episodes, the stakes are rooted in incredibly personal things. These episodes start to say so much about second chances and traumas and purposes in life and just how you matter to the people around you as a result of the multiversal shenanigans and as a result of these characters just being authentic and entertaining people. Even the characters who aren't as densely explored in these early episodes still feel like real bizarre people with real bizarre emotions, which occasionally as a viewer hit you like an absolute freight train. And there's a sense that once these 8 episodes are said and done, those characters' arcs might have been bubbling under the surface all along and might go into places that we cannot even remotely predict. On that note, let me talk about the performances, starting with John Cena. He already embodied this character so brilliantly in every second of the Suicide Squad, but he continues to find so many ways to grow and subvert our expectations. He feels so extraordinarily comfortable in this role, whether he's cracking jokes or mowing down bad guys or navigating indescribable heartbreak or just having minor petty grievances in his life. And that energy is infectious as a viewer. Jen Holland's Amelia Harcourt serves as a stellar complement to that energy, delivering a performance that is messy and emotional without ever falling into the tropes that often befall female characters in this space. Their bond together just feels so authentically human, even at its most complicated or strained, and I am just loving the DCU's track record so far of making the audience genuinely give a shit about romance again. I will sing the praises of the rest of this cast over and over again across the next couple months, but I do need to shout out my 2 favorite new additions. Sol Rodriguez's Sasha Bordeaux fits so perfectly into this show without losing her unique charm from the comics, and to hint at anything more than that would take away some of my favorite surprises from these first few episodes. And Tim Meadows makes an absolute meal out of his performance as Langston Fleury, which is even more impressive now that we know that they auditioned 300 actors before landing on him. I have a lot of feelings about the balance between creating a new character and pulling one from the depths of comic canon, but Fleury is one of the best instances yet of creating someone new. There is no one in DC canon quite like him, and some of the jokes and situations he gets into need to be seen to be believed. The comfortable and confident feeling of these episodes would already feel like a godsend in the old universe, but it hits on a whole other level in this new DCU. I will get into this more in my spoiler-filled breakdowns, but the word I would use to describe how the show approaches canon changes and potential retcons for season 1 is refreshing, especially in this space and in our current media landscape. And despite being very, very tonally different from Superman and even Creature Commandos, there is still an underlying sense of cohesion. With every passing moment, this DCU just manages to feel like a lived-in world, one that is not only filled with fantastical things beyond our comprehension, but filled with something that is very easy for us to comprehend. People trying to do the best they can and give a shit about each other and maybe feel at peace within themselves. Any Easter eggs or cameos or references in these first 5 episodes aren't for the sole purpose of gratuitously setting something up down the line. They're because they naturally, but still surprisingly, make sense for the emotional story that's being told. A little over a month ago, I was sitting here in front of this camera telling y'all that Superman had changed everything. Not just by being such a stunning piece of pop art, but by redefining the curriculum for why and how to effortlessly tell these stories. I feel like Peacemaker Season 2 carries that baton in its own special, beautifully messed up way. That is not only a feat for a second season of a show that started in a completely different universe, but it's a feat given how the landscape of superhero television has evolved since Season 1 finished. So many superhero TV shows have become my least favorite word in this space. Content. Either unintentionally or by design, they've landed as cul-de-sacs of cliffhanger endings and unfulfilled sequels and character arcs that only start to scratch the surface, which has ultimately led the audience to not care very much as a result. By comparison, Season 2 of Peacemaker makes you care so much about the characters, about the problems they're attempting to solve, about the fictional universe that we're lucky enough to lose ourselves in for another 8 episodes, about the storytelling structure of television, and maybe about yourself and the people in your life as well. I have a feeling this show is going to be a moment. Not only week to week, but especially as we get to those remaining 3 episodes, which are apparently so wild that James Gunn is basically keeping them under lock and key. I have so many theories about those last 3 episodes that I'm going to be internally screaming about for the next 5 weeks. But I don't mind that at all, because the journey of the show is going to be so much fun along the way. Are you excited for Season 2 of Peacemaker? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends if you haven't already done so. As always, you can find me on social media at Hey It's Jenna Lynn. I have a feeling I'll be using Threads a lot to talk about these episodes, so please be sure you're following me there if you aren't already. Merch is available at the link in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, go read some comics.